viewing side. So if you want to join the live conversation, just please make sure that you click on the top link in the Facebook post. The bottom link allows you to view, which is fine, but if you want to be engaged in the dialogue, please click on the top link. So let's jump in. So today we're going to focus on the little things that make a world of difference for the September and beyond campaigns, because obviously many of you selected these campaigns to do out into the future as well. But before we dive into that category, which is always a fun topic to discuss because these are things that really do push the needle forward, let's go through some weekly updates. So next Monday is Labor Day, so we are closed on Monday, but we will be doing the SYNMIND on September 2nd, which is Tuesday at 1:30 Eastern Time. So please put that in your calendar. We're obviously closed. You're probably closed as well on the Monday, but we will pick up on Tuesday so we don't miss any week because we know everybody loves these sessions. In addition, the Synduit dashboard is going to be live next week. We're going to keep it internal inside of your sites. We're actually going to be the ones doing it for you. So we'll install all of your October and beyond campaigns on your behalf, and we'll do that all next week. And we're doing this intentionally. Maybe I'm being even a little bit too careful, but I wanted to make sure that this is done right. This is a major software deployment, and everything has been tested hundreds of times at this point, but I want to have it tested actually in each of your websites, and the only way to do that is for us to install the events as if we were you. So next week we will be doing that, and then the following week we're going to give you complete access. There's going to be trainings that take place throughout the day so you can jump on the trainings. We have videos that show you what to do. It's going to be an amazing experience. This dashboard is extremely powerful. In addition, we will be reaching out throughout this week to some of you if we need any information. There's just certain credentials that we might need, so please be on the lookout for messages from our marketing team or our Syntern, and we'll be reaching out just to get that information from you because this is an exciting launch and we want to make it a huge success. In addition, just to keep you updated, I am going to start the interviews this week for Project Chiropractic. We had maybe like 30 or 40, maybe 40 stories that were submitted, and they're all great. Some of them just happen to have been like really fantastic. So I think I'm interviewing about 10 people maybe for Project Chiropractic, so we'll see what comes of this. But I know that all of the interviewees that I've connected with up to this point are so excited to share their story. And that's a big opportunity for you guys because these are lay people that have experienced the transformation, and they are pretty fired up to tell the world about it. So I have no idea what to expect because my first one is today, but I will update you guys the next time we chat next Tuesday because I will have done I think 5 or 6 this week alone. So I'm excited to see what this turns into. In spirit of the last minute tips for August campaigns, since there's another 5 days left, I was Dan and I were we always prepare for these sessions, and we were talking through like what's really important at this stage of any month. And what we came to realize is that don't give up until it's over. And I've actually heard countless stories of DCs who do not finish the month strong in comparison to those who do. And the major difference between this group is success. I mean, I remember actually, I don't know what month it was, but I think maybe not last month, but the previous month, there was a chiropractor that in their last week of their referral campaign, they got 17 new patients. That's serious right there. I mean, that's amazing growth, huge strides, impacting the community in a major way, and that's because he just didn't give up until he crossed the finish line. So I really encourage all of you to think about that as well. This is a holiday week. Some would say maybe it's going to be a little bit slow. The kids could be going back to school next week if they haven't already, and maybe parents are taking that last vacation, but it doesn't mean that you need to check out. It means that you need to go as strong as you've ever gotten before and really finish the month strong. It's so critical. And the reason why is that what I encourage you to do, this is something that we do here every week, is at the end of each week, spend 5 minutes and reflect on what took place that previous week. And reflect on the transformations. Reflect on the new faces that have entered your clinic for the first time. Reflect on your success. Reflect on your growth. But the only way that that reflection is just juicy and fantastic and exciting is if you know that you gave it your all until you cross the finish line. We do this every week here, and it's a really special experience, and I encourage you to do it as well. It's just so critical to reflect on those transformations, and then as a result of that reflection, celebrate your victories as well. Let's go around and just kind of discuss some of the successes and maybe even challenges that have taken place this month so that we can all kind of see where we're at and share this with one another. So, Mike Doty, what about you? I don't know if you're just watching, but share what's going on with you. If you're trying to speak, you might still be on mute.
He's not on mute. His microphone may not be working. Hey, Mike, if we can't hear you, if you're having some microphone issues, just chat in the chat box.
Cool. And Mike V, anything you want to share? Some successes or challenges or new ideas that have emerged? I know you're always full of them.
We just we had a great teleseminar on Get It Together last week. We co-hosted with a local business owner she's an entrepreneur in a it's Arbonne, like a direct sales company, and I've known her for a few years and saw her go through a lot of health transformations and personal growth success, and now she's like a leader in that industry, and she's retiring from her 9-to-5 job soon. So having her come on and share was a great collaboration, and the talk had a great energy to it, and we had a lot of good feedback. So we're going to try to hook up with someone for the 7 Secrets teleseminar for kids, and I think that'll be a good thing to collaborate with other people on all of our future teleseminars.
Awesome, man. Yeah, notice with when I first launched my first website ever, it was called Brand Entity. It was like 10 years ago, and I had no audience whatsoever. And like teleseminars were like a new concept then. Like it didn't even really exist the way that they do today. But I did exactly that. I mean, I used to do audio interviews, and I always brought on a guest for whatever topic. And I just found that it was the dialogue, like the back and forth, was fantastic. I mean, people really enjoyed it. They enjoyed the question answer. As a result of the people that I selected, they always had some audience, whether it was small or eventually large. Once I grew and I brought more to the table. And like my database grew. Like I went in the first month from 0 to 1,000 people on my list, and then to thousands just by that mechanism alone. So I think doing teleseminars with a guest is so valuable. And the fact that we create all the resources for you to share with them so they can then go and market it is also hugely valuable. So I'm happy that you brought that up, because I think what sometimes happens with like the live events, like in-person events, it's like clear, like, oh yeah, I'll do this with a guest, like this makes sense. We could do a smoothie workshop together or whatever that is. But sometimes with teleseminars, we don't even think to do that. But there's really no difference between the two. You just decided to take that same experience that'll be in your office and make it virtual, so that more people can gain access to it. So great job doing that. That's fantastic, and I would encourage you to think of somebody else that you could even do the 7 secrets with. Also, another thing too, and like I've talked about this for a long time now. If you're doing a program and like you have a colleague who's an expert in the subject, who maybe they can't benefit you in the sense of like their database, but they're still really like talented with their knowledge, let them participate with you. Like sometimes it's not even about just growing the list, but it's also about adding immense value. And you might be so excited that Dr. X, Y, and Z is joining you for this session, that your energy alone is what drives the success. So definitely consider bringing on guests for teleseminars and webinars. Great job with that. That's awesome. Anyone else? Let's see. I know we have some new people here. Michelle, do you have a microphone yet? Not yet. Okay, we need to get you a microphone over there. All right, cool. Let's keep plugging along so we can stay on track.
Mike Doty said that he's excited about the upcoming delivered seminar, and he's got a midwife for the Kids Need Chiropractic webinar, which is awesome.
Oh, that's great.
That ties right into what you're just saying.
Yeah, great job with that, man. That's the collaboration is huge. I mean, we're seeing this now. Like, if you obviously in the Facebook group, people are posting their success stories, and they're often the result of collaboration, because it just opens up conduits, and that's really exciting. So, great job with all of that. Dan, do you want to kind of give a recap of what we spoke about last week?
Yeah, sure. So for those of you who weren't here last week or didn't see the video, I highly recommend going back and checking out the replay. That's when Jared and I basically dove into the individual empathy maps for each campaign. So the empathy map, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, it asks 5 questions. The questions are: what does your target audience see on a regular basis, think and feel, hear, say and do, and then what are their pains and what are their gains? And answering each of those questions gives you a very, very clear, concrete view of what that person's life is like. It allows you to empathize with them and kind of put yourself in their shoes. So we go through each of those questions for each of the campaigns that are coming up, and it allows you to see, you know, what are the most effective communication methods with this type of person, and how can I bring something really kind of clear, a clear image into their mind. Say if one of the answers to what do they see on a regular basis was their family making unhealthy choices, that's something that you could bring up in a conversation, and that elicits a memory in their mind, or it brings up a visual image in their mind that allows you to connect with them on a much deeper level. So they're very, very impactful, you know, exercises going through these empathy maps. So I highly recommend that you guys go back and check out what we were talking about last week. So if you're thinking about the communication aspects and you're starting to implement that now, this ties directly into making email-electual connections. We've got the training on that at simpractic.com/email-electual. So I highly recommend you guys check that out if you haven't already. But very, very powerful stuff. It was a good call.
Great, yeah, awesome. And there's, I know, tons of new tribe members on this. So the empathy map is, from my perspective, the most valuable resource that you gain access to when it comes to profiling your audience. So really dive into that. And we did a webinar, Dan and I made 2 months ago on these 6 questions and how to actually bring this into the conversation, not even just for marketing campaigns, but just across the board. And if you want that as well, it's simpractic.com/6questions-replay. And you can watch that video. Just so everybody knows, all of the resources that we've ever produced, once you get access to your dashboard, they actually live inside of your website. So right now there's over 200 hours of video and audio trainings that live inside your site. It's all searchable. I mean, it's awesome. We call it the Synduit Academy. So the things that we're referencing now will actually live inside your site. So it'll be really easy to access them. So just get ready. It's on its way. Some reminders for the week. The timeouts this week, which is the conference call for your staff, is on Wednesday, August 27th at 2 o'clock Eastern Time, and the topic is human resources in a small office. Great topic. The team was sharing some of the insights today that they're going to release, and it's great stuff. I mean, so different to what your staff is probably exposed to anywhere else. And then the Business Pros webinar that Dan's going to lead is on the same day, August 27th on Wednesday at 12 o'clock Eastern Time, and he's going to dive into why small businesses need social media. And he mentioned that a number of chiropractors were writing to him that are part of the tribe about his Twitter program that he just put on that was fantastic. And they said, well, why do we even need this in the first place? So this is going to be why.
This basically goes back to basics. So for those of you who saw the Facebook tutorial, that was a 3-part series, and then this more recent Twitter series, that'll go deep into, you know, how you set up an account, what do you do to populate content, and how do you promote that content. This upcoming webinar this Wednesday is going to be all about, okay, what is social media? You know, why is it important? How much time should you put into it? Should you delegate it? If so, to whom? All that kind of stuff that will kind of lay the groundwork if you're really just getting started.
Cool, that's awesome. And then with regard to questions, we're just going to simplify everything here. So if you have any questions, whether it's website related or if it's SYNMIND related or marketing related, just email support@simpractic.com. We're just going to really streamline everything so that we're not running these 2 parallel tracks. This will make it far easier for us to continue to deliver high quality customer support. So support@simpractic.com. And let's now dive into the little things that make a world of difference. So if anybody is attending for the first time, and even just to kind of reiterate what we're going to focus on today. So what we find is that with marketing, we've broken the trainings down in 4 distinct areas. We talk about external marketing, we talk about internal marketing, we talk about communications, and we also now focus on little things that really move the dial. I mean, like stuff that, yeah, I guess you could forget it, but they make such a big difference that we want to highlight them so that they're part of your conscious state and then become part of the implementation. So some of those little things are what Dan refers to as chocolate on the pillows, like little things that you can do at the event, before the event, during the event, after the event, that they're just world class. I mean, like people are like, oh, that just made such a difference. The other side of it is how do you close? Like how do you actually sell your service? And I use the word sell because sometimes chiropractors get a little squirmish when they hear that word, like, no, I'm not selling anything, but you are, and you're actually selling something more valuable than any other service provider in all of healthcare. You're selling life, which is really a special thing to offer. So what I'm going to focus on is how you actually close, because what we don't want you to do is become an event coordinator, where you just host tons of events but not grow your business. And the way you grow your business is by doing these little things and then also closing. So we're going to talk about that today. But there are some universal little things that you should be doing with all of these campaigns, and we're going to introduce those now. So Dan, you want to run with some of these universal little things?
Yeah. So for those of you who have been here for the last couple of months, you'll be a little bit more familiar with these, but these can be applied to any of the campaigns that we're about to talk about. The first little thing that can make a huge difference is to reach out a day or two before the actual event to let them know that you're looking forward to seeing them and that you've got a spot saved for them, and give them permission to invite other people. So that's a big thing that we always talk about. When you invite somebody, there's not an implicit assumption that they have the ability to bring more people, to bring their friends, to bring their family members. They don't know if there's room. You want to give them that permission. So when you call up and say, "Hey, John, I'm really looking forward to seeing you at the workshop tomorrow night. Just so you know, we have a couple seats that we saved for your family or your spouse or your kids. We would love to see them there as well." And so that gives them that permission to think about who in their life they would want to bring. The next thing is to have a kind of a surprise giveaway at the end of the workshop, if it is a workshop, or a surprise promotion at the end of a teleseminar, if it's a teleseminar. And that not only is an above and beyond gesture that gives somebody something that shows that you are really willing to contribute to their lives, but it becomes an anchor. So if you're giving out a book at the end of a workshop, for example, they take that book home. And especially if you put, a message in the inside cover, or you put a save the date card in as a bookmark, that anchors that experience that they had at that workshop in their mind, so that every time that they come back to that book, every time that they see it, every time they open it and read it, they're thinking about you. So that's an incredibly powerful exercise that you can do. It is a little thing. It's just, saying there are some books in the back for you guys to take home if you are interested in this. That's something that will really, go above and beyond for people. The next one is to use this targeting concept that we talk about a lot, which is figuring out what campaigns fit with which people perfectly. So when your patients come in on a regular basis into your office, you see them and you already understand what kinds of things they're going through. You know their challenges. You know their journey that they've taken to get to where they are today. And with that information, you can then go back to what you're offering in terms of events that month or next month and recommend one to them. Instead of saying, here's everything that we're doing, come to all of it, that situation is overwhelming. People will choose not to go to anything. But if you say, I've got one recommendation for you based on the fact that you've wanted to lose weight, or you've wanted to have more energy, or you have kids who wet the bed, or X, Y, and Z, they're going to see that and say, wow, Dr. X has really put some thought into this. He understands me, and that's just a way to strengthen that relationship. The next one is to use what Jared was talking about in terms of finishing the month strong. A lot of people start to trail off at the 3-week mark or so if your event is at the end of the month, or if it's a referral campaign that's month-long. You want to maintain that momentum, because when people come in, especially for a second time and the same campaign's running, that's a consistent flow of communication, and they see that you guys are really committed to this, and they'll want to get on board. So make sure that you are maintaining that consistency and you're pushing forward, even in that last, the last home stretch, because like Jared mentioned, having 17 new patients in that last week, that's not rare. Because when people come in that second time or that third time and the same campaign's running, and maybe they didn't engage the first time or the second time even, when you have that consistency, there's a momentum that comes with that. And the last thing I'd say is to do what other people don't think to do. Think outside the box and really be fearless with what you're doing with these strategies. The chocolates on the pillows, are things that you can immediately do and have a really strong impact with. Make sure that when you're giving your sales pitch that you are infusing passion into it, and you're not looking down to the floor or crossing your arms, that you're animated and you've got energy. And so that's a little thing that a lot of people overlook, but that makes a huge difference. So keep that in mind as we go through this kind of stuff. How can you infuse your own passion and energy into what we're about to talk about?
Awesome. Great job. So these are those universals. These apply to every campaign. We just don't want to repeat them 6 times. So that's why we initiate them from the start, so you guys can start thinking about it. And the ultimate theme of this month, of this session, is going to be to finish strong. So just keep that in mind with everything that we're doing. So Dan's going to introduce the chocolate on the pillow, and then I'm going to talk about how to actually close. So I'm going to pretend like I'm you and give like a very mini dialogue with regards to what I would say if I was in your position when it came to closing. So Dan, for the first campaign we're going to talk about is 7 reasons why your kids need chiropractic care. This is an awesome teleseminar. What would be a chocolate on the pillow for this teleseminar?
So if
or webinar.
Yeah, it could be either. If you've got kids or there are kids in your office, which, especially if you're running a pediatric clinic, there's a high likelihood of that, then I want you guys to record a short audio or video clip where they are explaining what chiropractic care means to them, why chiropractic care is something that they really love. And if you compile these and use them, post them on social media, use them as introductions to the teleseminar or the webinar, you can play those and say, this is what Sally was saying about chiropractic care. These are the kinds of things that you want your kids to be saying. You want them to love it. You want them to look forward to getting adjusted. And all you really need to do is just either get out your phone and record an audio note and just play it on the teleseminar or the webinar. This is simple to do, but it has a meaningful impact. When people get on that call and they hear that, it's a different voice than your own, so it catches their attention, but it's basically straight from the horse's mouth, seeing what's possible when you can get your kids on board and excited about chiropractic care. So that's the chocolate on the pillow. Record the audio or video of kids, explaining what chiropractic care means to them and why it's important, why they love it, and play it on the call.
Yeah, that's awesome, and it's just fantastic social proof. And then with the close for this one, just keep in mind where your audience is. So your audience is parents who are considering the possibility of bringing their child in for care, and if they haven't already, it's because they're nervous, maybe they're a little skeptical, whatever reason. There's something standing in between them and then bringing their child in for care. So knowing that, when you get to the point of closing, and the close should never just happen at the end, it should be throughout the entire experience, where when you're engaging someone on an intellectual level for the 30-minute teleseminar, where you start with your why, so that's your personal story, and then from there you go into the how, which are the 7 reasons why your kids need chiropractic care, and then you talk about what are the benefits, which would be the chocolate on the pillow that Dan just shared, where you actually have a child talk about their experience living the chiropractic lifestyle, and then you talk about who the ideal audience is, which would be children, and you can start to really characterize them, and then you close with the why, which is the vision of possibility. Humanize this experience and really relate with the audience by stating something like this. So for those of you who are tuning in for this teleseminar webinar, I understand that right now you're probably a little bit unsure or prior to this webinar, you were a little bit unsure with regards to whether or not chiropractic care could help your child. And I want you to know that I know exactly how you feel. Other practice members, they have felt the exact same way with regards to their children. They've been coming for years. Maybe their significant other also comes, but they felt the same way with their children. They was a little bit nervous. But what we have found is that the practice members that have brought their children into the clinic, the entire family transforms. I mean, the kid begins to live with vitality. They don't have the normal sicknesses and runny noses the other kids have. Like, they live differently. And it would be my honor and my pleasure to schedule a consultation with any of the parents who are on this conference call or who are on this webinar, so that you can get your specific questions answered regarding your child. Because I know that making a decision for your child is even more important than making a decision for yourself, and I want to make sure that you have the certainty with regards to this decision. So please call and give your phone number so they can call. What I just did, I'm going to do this for each of the campaigns, is a strategy called Feel, Felt, Found. And you want to do it in that order. Feel, you know how they feel. That's empathy. Felt is other people have felt the same way. This means that they're not alone. But what you found is the outcome of what it is that you're looking for them to do in the first place, which is get their kid under care. So that would be an example of the close. All right, Dan, let's talk about the truth about flu shots. What's the chocolate on the pillow for this?
So the truth about flu shots is the chocolate on a pill is a little bit, of a pattern interrupt. So what I want you guys to do is prepare a really delicious, tasty green smoothie, and this is something that you can tie into the prevention techniques that in living a healthy lifestyle. If you have a smoothie that's available for people to taste in the office, it will help kind of prevent the onset of the flu people will see. So if you say, okay, well, you could either stick a needle in your arm, or you could actually have a delicious smoothie and live a life of wellness and vitality and energy and eat delicious foods and stay active. That's kind of a juxtaposition or comparison of their choices. So it kind of gives them that option, saying, okay, well, you could either have this smoothie and prevent and train your body to have the ability to fight off the flu, or you could stick a needle in your arm and destroy your body in many harmful ways. So that's a way that will kind of be a pattern interrupt in a way to wake them up to that concept. If you guys have recipes that you would like to share, then just post them on the Facebook page. It's a great place to do that. And obviously you could have people take pictures in the office and post them on your social media page. People really love having smoothies and free food in many cases. So that's something that can really build some buzz online.
Great, and I made a great green smoothie last night. It was, so if anybody wants to use this, tons of spinach, avocado, banana, a little bit of pineapple, a huge thing of cilantro, which was actually awesome, and almond milk and ice. It was fantastic. So there's a good recipe for you to use, and obviously please feel free to post others as well. But I really love that chocolate on the pillow, because it's just a total interrupt. People don't expect that this could actually replace this. Because remember, no one is making a decision to get the flu shot for themselves or for their child because there's an emotional attachment to the flu shot. That's not why they're doing it. They're doing it because they just don't know any other way. It makes sense. If you didn't know what you knew, it makes sense. If I don't want to get the flu, I get the shot to prevent the flu. But what we know is that it's actually causing more harm than good. So now how do we close? Well, once again, the structure of this workshop is you start with the personal story, your why. From there, you go to the how. The how are the details of the presentation. That's the PowerPoint/special report and anything else that you decide to add. What are the benefits? Talk about the benefits that people have gained in your clinic as a result of not getting the flu shot and instead of considering the chiropractic lifestyle. Who is this opportunity perfect for? What are the characteristics of your ideal audience? And then close with the why, the vision of what's possible when an entire community stays away from the flu shot and instead they live a healthy lifestyle. And then here is the close. So for those of you who are in attendance tonight, first off, I appreciate you. I know at this point you're probably in a position where you're just unsure, which is why you came here in the first place. There's one side of you that says, I have to get the flu shot or I'm going to get sick, and the other side of you says, how could it be healthy to inject a needle into my arm and actually give myself the flu as opposed to trying to just be healthy? And you're just in this really uncomfortable place. And I know exactly how you feel because other people that have been working with us for years, they once felt the exact same way. They were unsure, they saw things on the news, they spoke with their medical doctor, they heard from their friends, they saw the signs at Walmart or wherever there were signs. They felt the same exact way. But what we have found in our clinic is that the practice members who participate in the chiropractic lifestyle on a regular basis, consisting of the following, and list out what that means, they are the ones that are living with vitality. They're not even afraid of the flu because they already know that their immune system is strong enough to combat it. Their central nervous system is allowing them to operate optimally. So I encourage everyone here right now to schedule a consultation with me. I want to understand where you are in your life. Maybe the flu is a huge fear, and before you make a decision to get a flu shot, let's at least sit down and create a plan, because that's what I'm here to do, to make myself available to help each and every one of you live and experience vitality. So please make sure that you schedule an appointment with my staff in the back. My schedule does fill up quickly, but it'll be my honor and my pleasure to have a one-on-one conversation with you. So that would be some version of how to close. All right, Dan, let's go with the master controller.
Cool. So master controller, the chocolate on the pillow for this one, and for those of you who aren't familiar with it, master controller is basically an all-out, workshop on chiropractic. So this is what you want to do. You want to record 5 video testimonials from existing patients, and they can be talking about, what their life was like before they met you and what it was like getting started and what their life is like now. So you can break it into those 3 steps. And then have these testimonials playing either throughout the workshop or set aside time during the workshop to play them, and have everybody watch them and see, exactly what one of those transformations that you are talking about during the workshop looks like. In many cases, 5 times. So you want to have those 5 practice members, thought of, identified, reach out to them and say, hey, I know that you saw an amazing turnaround in your health, or whatever their turnaround or what's in, and say, I'd like to record your story and explain to them, I want to hear about what your life was like before. I want to hear about what it was like getting started at the office and what was involved with that, what your journey looked like, and what your life is like now that you've been coming here for 6 months or so. So that's how you can structure those videos, but having them playing throughout the workshop or setting aside some time during the workshop for everybody to watch them will be a really great idea to hammer home the importance of what you're going to be talking about and teaching. So it has some real world applications.
Awesome. That's great. And then when it comes to the close, same structure. Remember, engage on an intellectual level. It's a flexible way of communicating. Start with your personal story, your why. And this is a powerful why, because this is why you became a chiropractor in the first place. And many chiropractors have really compelling stories with regards to what their life was like before, and then they had this epiphany when they found chiropractic, and it set them on this mission. So share that why. Get emotional with your audience. The how, that's going to be the actual meat of the presentation. That's the PowerPoint and the special report and anything else that you decide to add when it comes to the education. The what are these stories that Dan is referring to. So get these on video, and even encourage the people that are your patients that have experienced such incredible transformations to come to the workshop so they can share them in real life. Those are the benefits that people stand to gain. The who is your ideal audience. Who do you want to actually work with? Because the chances are at this workshop there will be some active members, there'll be some people that may have fallen off the map a bit, and as a result they're inactive, and then there's some new people altogether. So who are your ideal patients, and what are those characteristics? And then finally you close with the why, which is the vision of what's possible. And this is also where you invite them. You invite them to experience your office. So same structure, feel, felt, found. So for those of you who are here tonight, first off, I appreciate it. It is my honor and my pleasure to be able to spend 30, 45, 60 minutes with people who recognize the importance of their health and well-being. Some of you I've known for years. Others, this is the first time. But regardless of where you stand, I want you to know how much I appreciate it. That being said, I know that the world of health and health care is a scary place. I mean, there's all these different beliefs and things that you see on the news and articles in newspapers, and it's so challenging in today's world, which is filled with information, to make a decision for yourself and for your family. And I know exactly how you feel. Other practice members that have come to our clinic now for years, they once felt the same way, that they were living in this convoluted space of misinformation. But what they found once they became part of our clinic is that we became their beacon of hope in an extremely convoluted world called healthcare. And we helped create a roadmap and a plan for them to live and experience what vitality and optimal health is all about. And it wasn't just for them, it was for their entire family. So I encourage and I invite each and every one of you who's attending our office for the first time to schedule a one-on-one consultation with me. I want to hear what your questions are with regards to your health, and then I want to give you advice on how to attain the life that I know that you have the desire to live. So please make sure you meet with my staff in the back of the room, schedule an appointment. My schedule gets really filled, but I will make space for you so we can sit down one-on-one and I can learn more about your life and help you create that path for yourself as well. So that would be an example of the close. Feel, felt, found. All right, Dan, go for it with doctored.
So doctored screening, much in the same way that we were talking about the possibility of giving out a book at the end of a workshop, this Chocolate on a Pillow is for a DVD. Since it's a doctored screening, you want to give away some of the DVDs. So have a 10 or 15 of them ready for people to take home at the end. But actually, it doesn't stop at the DVD. Inside the case, you can put a special offer to have the person who takes it home not watch it, but give it to one of their friends. And that's the request that you give to them as they're walking out the door. You say, here's a DVD. I hope you enjoyed the screening. I want you to give this to somebody who could really use the information. You just saw the movie tonight. You understand the power and impact that it has and the information that's shared. So I want you to think about the one person in your life who could benefit most from watching this. And inside this DVD case is a special offer for that person to come in for, and then you insert your promotion, and we would love to see them in here. So that's a way that you can almost have this sharing component introduced to the screening, because you can say to all the people in the room and have that this is an amazing experience, and you can communicate as much information as possible. But if you can get outside the room to the audience that's not within your walls, that's a really powerful way of growing your practice and getting the word out. And giving out a DVD is an amazing gesture. People will really appreciate it, and it becomes an anchor. Once again, I don't have to kind of reiterate what that looks like, but use that strategy in this chocolate on the pillow tactic to build the audience and share what's been said in the movie and increase the impact that screening has by giving your audience the tools that they need in order to take that message elsewhere. So include that special offer, that promotion inside the DVD case as people are walking out. And if you have a large group, that's okay. You don't have to buy a DVD for like 100 people. You can have a raffle or sweepstakes, and people can put their name in, and you can announce it at the end, and that kind of creates some scarcity, which is always kind of helpful. So that's a chocolate on the pillow for the doctored screening. Jared, you got the sales pitch?
Yep, that's awesome. I like how you presented that, because that really was a good close in and of itself. But I'm going to be repetitive again, same structure. So you, as in the MC of this event, because the chance it's going to be a big event with a panel of experts, you want to start with the why, as in why this is even important in the first place. That's the emotional beginning to the experience, which is the evening. The how is going to be the actual film, and the how is going to be the panel of people, if there is a panel, answering questions. From there, what are the benefits? And I would encourage you to have active practice members there who can stand up and talk about the benefits, not just of your office, but of the lifestyle that Doctored is talking about, of really staying away from the pharmaceutical industry and instead living a life of vitality, and let people talk about what that has meant for them. At that point, you want to stand up and you want to take questions, understand where people are with regards to their life, let them open up, so that gives you a chance to profile them. And then when it comes to the who, now you know who's there. So you can talk about the characteristics of the ideal people to act upon this, and then you close with the why, which is the vision of what's possible. And in that closing sequence, what you're going to want to do is recognize where people are. You definitely jumble them up a bit by showing this film. There's a possibility that they came in with one belief system, and then because of this film, it just changed everything. And now they're what do they do next? Because the one thing about Doctored is it's great in the sense of challenging everything everybody knows, but it doesn't necessarily lay a roadmap or a path to follow. And that's where you should emerge. And you should come in at the end and invite every person in there to set up a one-on-one consultation with you so they can get their questions answered, because they will have questions, and get them to commit on the spot to having that visit with you, because if you can sit down one-on-one with these people, answer their questions, and create a roadmap for their success, they will become evangelists of your clinic. So that would be the structure, and then the close as well. Dan, why don't you go with the referral month for the teachers?
So Teachers Referral Month, this is not just one day. So what you want to have is an ongoing chocolate on the pillow idea that you can have as kind of an ongoing passive strategy. And the best thing that you can do is to get a collection of apples. And we always say, giving an apple to a teacher is kind of a traditional move. But what you can do is take that apple and attach a save the date card and a gift certificate to it, and then have the child deliver the apple or the parent deliver the apple to the teacher. And that's a way that you can, it's very, very creative. So nobody else will have obviously done that to the teacher that day, unless you have tons of kids in the community that are doing this, which would be awesome and even better. But you want to stand out, and this is one way that you can do that. So get a bunch of apples and attach a save the date and gift certificate to the stem, and have people take them home with them and give them to the parents and say, hey, when little Jimmy goes into school tomorrow, just have him give this to his teacher. And that's one way that we can build this movement. So you want to get them in that mindset. You want to get them on board with growing the practice and growing the movement. So that's one way that you can do that. On another note, and this is a bigger strategy, but it's worth mentioning. Everybody should be reaching out to the superintendents and principals in the school so that you can get your foot in the door there. Even give a workshop or consultations, or bring in a massage therapist, something that would introduce you to that new audience, all the teachers in the school, because obviously they're working hard, they're stressed out. They're some of the most stressed out people I would expect in the community. So that's something that you should really look at as an opportunity to improve the health of your community. So talk to the superintendent, talk to the principals, and get in front of them and say, this is what I want to do. This is the kind of impact I want to have. We're running this Teachers Referral Month, and I wanted to get everybody involved with this. So definitely reach out to those people.
Awesome. And then with regard to the close, this is a one-on-one dialogue, or even speaking to the superintendent, same structure: why, how, what, who, why. But when it comes to the close, this is a big opportunity here, because the close is going to be your burning desire to have a massive impact in the community. And if you were to share that one-on-one, one-on-many with this person of power, or just with a practice member, and you say, I am driven to impact the lives of our children, and I believe that the best conduit to get there is by helping teachers live and experience vitality. And I would like to work with you to get Johnny, or whatever the child's name is, teacher, into our office this month, because our entire focus is on appreciating those teachers so that they have a foundation in their life to propel themselves forward. So how can we work together to get Johnny's teacher into the office so they can at least have a consultation and begin to experience what's possible? So now the reason I said it's a close is that they're going to brainstorm with you. They're going to say, well, I have back to school night on Thursday, and why don't I bring some information, and I'll make sure that I hang out afterwards and just talk about my story and tell them what has taken place for me and how I really encourage that they consider this. In addition, if you're sitting down with the superintendent, don't make this seem like for yourself, because I know if you do, you're going to get all awkward. This is not a sales pitch. This is a collaboration. This is you sitting down with the superintendent and saying, how can we work together so that either I can present or I can speak one-on-one with every single teacher in this district? Because I know, the same way that you know, that if the teachers had more energy and more clarity, which is the byproduct of what we do at our clinic, that they would be able to perform better in the classroom, and we're both motivated by the same thing. How can we work together to make this happen? And let them come back with some ideas and strategies, because that's really where the beauty exists, is in the collaboration. So our final campaign is Chiropractic Birthday Party. Dan, go for it.
Cool. So the chocolate on the pillow for this one is pretty straightforward. You want to create some goodie bags for people to take home with them. Now, if you're really going all out with this campaign, then you'll have a couple of businesses that are on board. They're either acting as vendors, or they're partnering with you for the event and providing some value in some way. So use those businesses as a conduit to get some either special offers or free trials or samples of some product that they're offering. So create some goodie bag that kind of has a collection of all of this stuff from all the businesses, including yours, that are at the event, and give them away for people to bring home. But you want to make sure that it's branded to your office. You want to have the special offer coupon in there so that they see it and it's always in front of them, so that when they go home, or even if somebody else sees it, they can talk about it and it'll be branded to your office. So that's a great gesture. Obviously, people like going home with some free stuff at the end of these events. So I would put some thought into what exactly would deliver some value for people, and have them come back and say, hey, I loved that sample of whatever, or I'm here to redeem my coupon, my special offer for, and then you have your promotion. So put in some thought into what's in those goodie bags, and people will be really appreciative of it.
Awesome. And with this one, when it comes to the close, think about this. You're going to be hosting a party at your office, and it's going to be a ton of fun. People are going to be coming and going, and it's your goal to be the person that is having an amazing experience connecting with people at this event, because the connection is where the close lives. And at some point of this experience, if you're hosting this as over like a couple of hours, even the whole day, you want to make sure that you truly share your why with people. Like, what is the ultimate vision that you have for this community? And get crystal clear on this, because when you're throwing a party like this, people are already going to be in a really positive frame of mind. They're going to have fun. They're going to like the social element of your office. And I would let them recognize that what you're experiencing now is what we're about. We're about bringing together like-minded people who have the burning desire to live with vitality and to experience optimal health. That's what we're about here. And what I also know to be true is that the world is so confusing and overwhelming when it comes to health and healthcare. I'm sure that you're exposed to all of these different beliefs, and I know exactly how you feel. And other practice members prior to joining our clinic, they felt the exact same way, that they were just living in this fog of overwhelm when it came to making health choices for their families. But what we have found is that once those individuals joined our clinic, we became their beacon of hope. We helped guide them when it came to living the life that they desired for them and their entire family. And I would like to invite you, or anyone, if you're speaking to a group, who's here for the first time, to schedule a one-on-one consultation with me. I made my schedule open for the next few weeks just to accommodate everyone, because I anticipate many of you scheduling this one-on-one session. And my goal during that consultation is to learn more about you and to help create a path for you to follow when it comes to your health and your entire family's health and well-being. So please speak with Mary or whoever the person is. Schedule your consultation. It's my honor and my pleasure to serve you and to serve our community. Thank you so much. And that would be a version of what the close would be. So in these last 10 minutes, let's open it up for some questions. We always start with the live group first. I have, I think, 2 questions that have been submitted. We'll see if others come through. So Mike Doty, any questions you want to type? Because I know you're having some technology issues with microphone. And as you're doing that, Michelle Anderson or Mike V, the ones that are on the live version, you guys can start with any questions. All right, Michelle, thank you. All set, cool. Mike Doty, any questions? I have a couple that have came through here. I think this one is actually pretty good. Awesome. One of the questions is, what if I'm just horrible at closing? So I had this conversation a few months ago with a chiropractor, and they're a leader in the profession, and I asked them, like, what would you advise a chiropractor who just can't close? Like some people have it and some don't. And what he said, and this could be an answer, I don't know if I 100% agree with it, but what he said is that if you can't do it, find someone who can, and have a staff member come in and that be their role. So if you really have a hard time closing, that's just not your gift, then find someone who has that gift and has that ownership and allow them to be the person that closes. Now, from my perspective, I don't know if I 100% agree with it. It could be a path, and maybe some of you are doing that already. And I love that in the Facebook group you can share what you do when it comes to the close. But my recommendation is this. Just don't make a big deal about the close. Like, people build up this close as like this monumental experience at the end of a presentation, and then as a result, they're going through the whole presentation doing a spectacular job until they get to like the 80% mark, and they start just getting awkward because they know the close is like 20% away, and that like freaks them out. But just don't make it a bigger deal than it is. A close is an invitation to take action, and my recommendation is that you close throughout the whole experience. So even in the beginning, when you're sharing your personal story, which is where all programs should begin, whether it's a referral campaign or a workshop or a teleseminar or a webinar or anything, a community event even, when you're sharing your personal story, I would close there and say, at the end of this presentation, I'm going to invite each of you to have a one-on-one consultation with me, or whatever your offer is, because I know you have questions and I want to help give you answers. And I know that sometimes in a large group, you might feel uncomfortable expressing those questions, but it's my goal to sit down with each of you and answer those questions. So at the end of the presentation, I'm going to give you that invitation. Well, now it's not awkward anymore. You already got it off the table, and throughout the entire experience, you can plug it and plug it and plug it until the end, where you say, okay, like I mentioned, I just want to invite each of you to have a consultation with me. And now that close isn't really a close anymore. So let's use the Facebook group. We can always continue this conversation there, just so that we stay good on time. Another question that came through, this was the final one, is that, let me read this. Oh, okay, so they find that people take referral cards and they seem really excited to share the message, but they don't actually refer. Any ideas? And this person said this is not everyone, but it's some people. And they just want to obviously reach potential. So Dan, do you have any ideas around this? I have some concepts, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would say, accountability comes into play here. So whoever takes a referral card, I would obviously, sometimes it's hard to manage, to keep track of everybody who's taking a referral card. But if somebody takes one of those cards and says, I'm going to give this to a friend, write their name down and then follow up with them in like 2 or 3 days and say, hey, did you give that card to your friend? Just wanted to see if they had any questions or if I could reach out to them and answer any questions that they had. So that's one way that you could follow up and keep the person accountable to actually referring that friend. Like I said, this is a capacity issue. You can't do this with everybody. So I would pick the people in your office who you feel are most likely to actually refer that person, and maybe every day reach out to 4 or 5 of them. That'll take probably 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes tops. Over the phone. Your staff can do it, and it's a way to just keep them accountable to building those referrals and to reaching out to those friends.
Yeah, I love that. The other piece to it also is recognize it's a volume play. So this is why you don't want to just target like a few people when it comes to referral months, and instead make this part of the dialogue with every single person. So maybe you see 50, 100, 500, 1,000 unique faces a week. Well, have 50, 100, 500, or 1,000 conversations around this. Don't just pick like the 4 people that you know are going to be receptive to it. The more conversations you have, the more people that are exposed to it, and the more people that are now out in the world thinking about whose life they can transform the same way that theirs has. So just keep that in mind, and Dan's premise is fantastic. Accountability is key. It could be staff-driven accountability, and you could even have that be in the dialogue where you say, do you want us to hold you accountable to getting John into the office? Because I know that you've spoken about John for years now, and he hasn't come in yet, and we both know that John's life will transform once he does come in. Do you want us to support you in any way? How can we help? And then let it become more of a collaboration versus just a question. So I think that's fantastic as well. Just in closing, next week we are going to focus on external marketing for the October campaigns. Remember, Monday we are closed. It is Labor Day, so this will be on Tuesday at 1:30 Eastern Time. Shout out to all the active Facebook participants. There's tons of you. Nicole Rothman, Emil Tompkins, Julia Kaiser, Matt Griswold, Karen Jaff, Mike V, Rachel Moran, Tim Malton, Kevin Carriage, Mike Doty. I mean, you guys are just fantastic. Keep on posting in there. Let's continue the dialogue. Remember, the power is in the pack. When it comes to submitting questions, you can still email the same email addresses that you've always used, but we're just trying to streamline things for all of you guys. So we created one email account, which is support@synpractic.com, and you can send anything there, and it will be directed to the right person. In addition, next week, we will be using the Synduit dashboard for you intentionally. I want to make sure everything is working within your environment, and then once we have 100% certainty, right now I have 99.99999%, but I want 100%, we will then turn it over to you the following week so that you can begin to benefit from it. But once you get it, all of your October campaigns will already be submitted, scheduled, and ready to rock. So, in closing, we have 2 quotes this week. I couldn't decide when we were putting these together, so we decided to share both of them. and they're both around the same concept. So just click on my screen so you can see it. They're both images. Both around the same concept of finishing strong. So one of them, stopping at third adds no more to the score than striking out. It doesn't matter how well you start if you fail to finish. Billy Sunday. And this is so true. I mean, this is the epitome of like rocking it for the first 3 weeks of the month, and then the fourth, like taking it easy. Just finish strong. You all have a very large vision that you have within your community, and the only way you get there is if you play all out every single day and then you start up again the next month. So you need to finish strong. There is still plenty of time left this month to make this your best month ever, so just go out there and rock it. And the final quote is from Robin Sharma, who's a good friend of mine, actually, and his quote is, "Starting strong is good. Finishing strong is epic." And I know that all of you guys want to be epic. So just finish strong. Make this a killer month. Do something exceptional these next few days. Hope all of you have a very happy Labor Day weekend. If you are celebrating, be safe, have fun, be fearless, get out there. Check out our video at some point this week, because I did call out the entire Synduit team. We will be doing the Ice Bucket Challenge, so check out that video when we do it.
Looking forward to that one.
It's going to be a blast. We're just trying to convince everyone to do it, but we'll get them. And with that, enjoy the week, everybody, and thank you for your time.
See you guys.